What's good, YouTubers and YouTubettes? This is JB Sports, back again with another one. Unified heavyweight champion Andy Ruiz will be back in the square circle after a 2-year sabbatical. Will rust be a factor as he takes on perennial heavyweight contender Jarrell Big Baby Miller? This fight is a crossroads matchup. This is one of them fights where it's do or die for both fighters. You got Andy Ruiz, who has a record of 35 wins, 2 losses, 22 KOs. Jarrell Miller career record is 26 wins, 1 loss, 1 draw with 22 KOs. So based on those numbers, Jarrell Miller seems to be of a high quality when you talk about being a knockout artist. But I don't subscribe to those numbers because I think that Ruiz has been in there with the superior opposition. He's fought 2-time unified heavyweight champion Anthony Joshua, nicknamed AJ. He took on King Kong Ortiz, who once upon a time was the boogeyman of the heavyweight division. None of the champions at heavyweight wanted any smoke with King Kong Ortiz. He was able to beat him decisively in a very competitive fight, but it was a fight that he was the clear winner. He also took on Joseph Parker, who's a former heavyweight champion. He lost a split decision in Parker's home country of New Zealand. He took on a guy that's very, very solid heavyweight contender in Dimitrenko. He was able to beat him. I believe he stopped him via TKO. You gotta love TKO. Remember that song? No. I can't remember who sung that song, but yeah, he beat him by TKO. He's just been in there with the better opposition. And if both fighters bring their A game, I just think that Ruiz gonna win the fight, because I just think even with the volume and the pressure of Jarrell Big Baby Miller, which if they do go 12 rounds, I see him outlanding Ruiz because he's gonna throw way more punches per round. And even if he's not landing at a higher rate than Ruiz, he's going to throw twice as many punches as Andy Ruiz, and that, if it go 12 rounds, it's going to have him ahead as far as punches landed. But I just think the cleaner, more effective punches are going to be landed by Andy Ruiz, who has fast hands. His speed is that of a middleweight, and I think that's going to be a problem for Miller. Now, Miller can offset that if he's able to make this a phone booth type of fight. Get close to Ruiz, bully him up against the ropes, and then go to the body. That fight being in close quarters would play into the hands of Miller, who's a much heavier fighter. I ain't gonna say much heavier, but he is the bigger guy. He's gonna be coming into this fight probably around 280 plus. I would imagine that Andy Ruiz probably be coming in around 270. So it ain't gonna be that much of a weight disadvantage or advantage for Jarrell Miller. You know, both of them guys are going to be coming in heavy. But I think both guys understand that this is a do-or-die fight. The loser of this fight is probably going to go into the category of a journeyman, of a stepping stone type of fighter. You know, a lot of these up-and-coming heavyweight prospects, they're going to be looking to fight the loser of this fight, to put that name on their resume, put their scalp on their wall. And when you're that type of fighter, it's good money in that type of fighter. But you know, as far as you want to have aspiration to be a champion and fighting in big, high-profile fights, that's no longer going to be in your plans if you're of that status, journeyman, you know, type of fighter. So we will see what happens, and we will see what transpires. I think it would be in both fighters' interest to establish the jab. Both of these guys are not known as guys that have great jabs, but I think if any of these fighters are able to establish a jab, be effective at times in this fight with the jab, that could pay dividends for this, for that particular fighter. You know, Ruiz is a guy that throws 2-punch combinations and throws 3-punch combinations. He's throwing the old 1-2, left jab, right hand, and he's very explosive with it. And it's one of them punches that you might can see it coming, but still can't get out of the way of. It's that fast, it's that explosive, and he's got snap on those punches. So it'll be up to Miller to take those shots and then be able to get off his own offense, and hope that his volume and his constant pressure will wear down Andy Ruiz, a guy that has not been in the ring in 2 years. So we will see what happens, and we will see what transpires. But interesting fight between Big Baby Miller taking on the Destroyer, Andy Ruiz. We will see what happens, and we will see what transpires. Very, very interesting matchup. You know, Big Baby, this is by far the best opponent that he has fought to date. I can't say that for a fact. And when I'm talking about Andy Ruiz, in that Jarrell Miller is the best opponent Andy Ruiz has fought. Actually, I doubt it is, because Andy Ruiz been in here twice with Anthony Joshua, who, when you ask any person that follow boxing, they'll tell you Anthony Joshua is a better fighter than Jarrell Miller. He's also fought Joseph Parker, and Joseph Parker has been a champion. Jarrell Miller hasn't, so Joseph Parker would go in that category as a better opponent than Jarrell Miller. He's also took on Luis Ortiz, and even the Luis Ortiz that he took on, who was no longer the boogeyman of the heavyweight division, but still was an effective fighter coming off of a good come-from-behind win over Prince Charles Martin. He was able to beat him. He beat Chris Arreola. Chris Arreola was faded at that point. He wasn't the same Chris Arreola that fought Vladimir Klitschko, but he still was a solid heavyweight, probably a top 20, top 25 type of heavyweight. He was able to win that fight after being dropped twice. And that fight took place up in Carson, California. So he's just been in there with the better competition. He's a guy that has fast hands. He has great footwork. Sometimes Big Baby, when he throws punches, sometimes when he's coming forward with the pressure, sometimes his punches are kind of not, loses a lot of his effectiveness because it's not, his foundation is not good. His foundation is not good. He's not using his legs because he's steady coming forward and he's just throwing those kind of like arm punches. His feet is not set. And when that's the case, you're not getting the full power on your punches. Your punches are not going to have the same effect that if you got your feet up under you and you're throwing the shot from a strong base, strong foundation. He's gonna have to quit doing that. I know he does that in fights. It typically works out for him because like I say, he's throwing so many punches per round that even though those punches are not devastating punches, it's just the volume. He's steady putting the pressure on the opponent, not only physically but mentally, and he tends to wear his opponents down over the course of a fight. So we will see what happens. And we will see what transpires. It's going to be an interesting fight, man. These two guys are good friends. Usually Jarrell Big Baby Miller, one of the best trash talkers in boxing, usually be going in on his opponent, but that's not been the case in the build-up to this fight because these guys are good friends, but I don't think that's going to play a part as far as a dull fight or these guys taking it easy on each other. I think it's going to be an explosive fight because both guys knows what's on the line. They cannot afford a loss because a loss will put them in a position of never been able to probably fight for a world title, let alone fight another high-profile fight. Again, like I said earlier in this video, they'll be, they could be potentially be in that category of a journeyman or a stepping stone type of opponent. So we will see what happens, and we will see what transpires. I like Andy Ruiz to win the fight. I don't think he's going to knock out Jarrell Miller, but I think he's going to win a disputed decision over Jarrell Miller. Not to say, I'm not saying, oh man, they're going to give it to Andy Ruiz. I just think it's going to be one of them fights where at the end of the day, at the end of the fight, Jarrell Big Baby Miller going to be in landing more punches and it's going to be in throwing more punches. But I just think that Andy Ruiz are going to be, his punches are going to be more effective, they're going to be more cleaner, and they're going to be doing more damage. And I think the judges are going to go with that. You're gonna go with the guy that's, like I said, throwing those more consistent punches, the more effective punches, the punches that are more eye-popping. You know, the thing about Andy Ruiz, when he lands his punches, everybody in the arena can see he landing punches. It ain't nothing you be like, did he land that, or did he miss him, or did the opponent roll that punch? Did he take a little bit off that punch with the shoulder roll? No, it ain't none of that, man. He catches. I ain't never seen no heavyweight catch his opponents flush, man. I'm talking about flush, bah, 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 just flush shots. That's because of the hand speed. He got the hand speed of a middleweight. Those heavyweight fighters just can't get out the way of those punches, man. Even if they see him coming, man, he's still landing flush, man. And I think that's going to be the difference in the fight, man. He's going to be throwing those 2-punch combinations. He's going to be throwing those 3-punch combinations. He's going to be using the jab. He's going to be mixing it up, man. I think Jarrell Miller going to try to walk him down, and I think he's going to counter a lot of what Jarrell Miller does. I think Jarrell Miller going to do some good body work because there's a lot there to work with as far as going to the body with Andy Ruiz. That should be effective because I do think that Andy Ruiz has decent head movement. So if he's head hunting, I don't think he's going to be able to catch Andy Ruiz, especially early on, with a lot of clean shots to the head. So his best bet is to go to the body early and hopefully wear down Andy Ruiz late and maybe get a stoppage late in the fight. I don't see that happening. I think that Andy Ruiz is one of them guys that I have seen him get knocked down by Anthony Joshua. But outside of that fight, I haven't never really seen him get, not really outside of 2 fights. Areola was able to drop him twice, but it never, even one of those knockdowns, to me, man, Andy Ruiz did not seem hurt after the knockdowns. He got up and he went back to fighting and implementing his style of fighting, and I ain't see him just really, really hurt. It was like 2 flash knockdowns. But he was hurt against AJ. That first knockdown, he was hurt, but he was able to get up. He wasn't really badly hurt, but he was hurt. He was able to get up, and he was able to hurt AJ and take over that fight. But outside of those 2 fights, man, I've never seen Andy Ruiz hurt outside of those 2 fights. So to me, he has a real good chin, and he has decent enough head movement where he don't take a lot of flush shots. Jarrell Big Baby Miller, up until his last fight for Daniel Dubois, showed to have a strong chin. And I think the last fight that he fought against Dubois was more of him not being in shape. He came into that fight 333 pounds. He said he only had 3.5 weeks to 4 weeks of training, so he didn't have enough time to really get the weight off properly. So he came in that fight as a sumo wrestler. And Andy Ruiz has came into several of his fights as a sumo wrestler. But I think this fight, both guys are being decent enough shape to put on a crowd-pleasing performance. And again, I like Andy Ruiz by decision over Jarrell Big Baby Miller in a fan-friendly fight this Saturday night. So we will see what happens and we will see what transpires. Let me know your thoughts on who you like in this particular matchup. Do you like former unified heavyweight champion Andy Ruiz, or do you like Jarrell Big Baby Miller? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Who you like, and if you think it's going to be a knockout, let me know in the comment section what round the knockout occurs. Follow me on Facebook, Gerard Briscoe. Follow me on Instagram, Gerard Briscoe 52. Follow me on TikTok, JB Sports New Media. Follow me on X at Briscoe Josh 77071, and subscribe to my 2 channels, JB Sports, at JB Sports 3303, and in my other channel at JB Sports, the man, the myth, the legend 9656. And subscribe to JB Sports, the man, the myth, the legend. And I holla.